Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be going through a few different things you might not know about both Garden Warfare 1 and Garden Warfare 2. So let's just get straight into it. So to begin with, the original Citron primary weapon from early trailers for Garden Warfare 2 was left over in a launch build of the game. If you take that file and put it in the modern day version of the game, you can get it fully functional as it would have been if Citron had this burst weapon. This was going to be for the toxic Citron, but it was probably a placeholder. But you can see here it does 20 damage per shot, so it was going to be quite powerful. But that might have also just been a placeholder damage value. But overall, this is how it would have worked, and it is fully functional in game. But the only issue is all of the effects have to be re-implemented because they were all removed. So next we've got like a two-way thing with two different animations that are in Garden Warfare 2 that not many people know of. So first of all is the Roadie Z. He has an animation for reloading even though he is an overheat character, so he shouldn't really have that animation in the game. So this could mean that he was meant to have ammo at some point and would have had to reload before shooting again, before they decided on the whole overheat mechanic. You can see on screen this is what it looked like, and yeah, if you want to enable this for yourself, all you have to do is change his ammo from being -1 to 1 to whatever you want for his ammo, and it will do this. Along with this, the Scientist has his own ZPG animation too. So this only activates if you use the ZPG as Scientist, which normally isn't possible unless you mod the game. But you can see here it's very similar to the Foot Soldiers, but it kind of gets a bit deformed, which kind of to me says that Scientist was built off what they had already for the Foot Soldier back in the day. You can see on screen here, this is what the animation looked like. So next we've got something that if you don't know about the Garden Warfare 1.5 update that they were going to do for the first game, you won't know about. But the Imp was going to have a completely different design in Garden Warfare 2. So Garden Warfare 1.5 is normally the little name that people have given to an update for the first game that would have brought in more zombified maps. So this would have been a lot similar to what we got with the Aqua Center, but it would have been on a larger scale. So first of all, Aqua Center was planned for this update, along with a map called Brain Street, remade version of the Main Street map, along with a Driftwood Shores remake too. But the main things is 3 new characters would have come to the game, which is Mech Gargantua, the Robo Zombie, and Imp, the one with the mech. So it's unsure if this was going to be like an NPC you would have fought, or if this was actually going to be a playable class. But you can see on screen there's multiple different concept arts of both the Imp and the mech. You can see there's a few differences. First of all, the Imp himself has a stripe on his helmet, which isn't seen in game. And he has completely different guns using what seems to be more pellets as opposed to the laser blasters that he's given in Garden Warfare 2. It's very similar to what the Foot Soldier has, so it kind of makes more sense. So as for the Imp Z-Mech, it has a bit of a different design, but it is not too different from what we actually have in Garden Warfare 2. First of all, the textures are a bit different, there's less black lines used on a lot of the different accents. Along with that, it has 2 aerials on the top of it too, kind of going in more of that like suburban kind of scrap aesthetic they were probably going to go for the mech. That like Zomboss took apart a bunch of houses and maybe that's what he used for the mech. Or maybe it was for camouflage, who knows. But along with that, his gun is completely different. This isn't actually unused in Garden Warfare 2. If you eject your Z-Mech, you may see a bunch of parts that come off the mech, like the top, the bottom, and the gun. But the gun part is actually not the one that's in-game, it's this unused one, and it uses the wrong texture. I think they may have forgot to change it when they implemented this new mech into Garden Warfare 1's engine, before they moved it to Garden Warfare 2. And yeah, apart from that, there's a small little change with the front, where if you look on the little like catches that the Imp flips up for his missile madness, instead of it being like these more like triangle shapes, it's just circles, and I'm assuming these would like open up and the missiles would come out. This is only seen in Garden Warfare 2 on the cover art to the game, where you can see Mech has a slightly different design. In main game it is actually more of a hidden triangle, they flip up and the missiles fire out. So yeah, It's a bit of an interesting thing. I think there's a lot more on Garden Warfare 1.5. If you want me to cover it, I may do that in another video. But with all that out of the way, let's move on to the next thing. So this is something some of you may know, and it's that Garden Warfare 1's maps for Team Vanquish are actually connected together. Not all of them, any that came in DLC are not connected, but the maps that are connected together are Suburban Flats and Zomboss Estate, Port Scallywag and Sharpbite Shores, and the Garden Centre and Chomp Town. So it's believed that the Suburban Flats and Zomboss Estate thing would have been connected to the Zomboss boss fight, but the rest of them are kind of unknown. But a lot of them have direct connections to each other's maps, the smoothest obviously being Suburban Flats, but the pathways from Chomp Town that lead directly to Garden Centre, there's a staircase that you can go up and down to get from Port Scallywag to Sharpbite Shores and vice versa, but the issue is, some of the stuff is kind of a bit broken on both of the other two maps that are connected, because obviously after launch they didn't have any use for this stuff anymore, so it kind of just became a bit of a unfinished thing in the end that they never really finished off and kind of just let a lot of the assets clip with the connections. But it is a little interesting thing, and if you wanted to see what the maps look like when they're connected, I'll show on screen now for you. Some of the assets for both maps do remain loaded in when only one map is loaded. Like for Zomboss Estate, there's a little part on the front of it which I believe was going to be related to the Zomboss boss fight, which stays loaded even if you're on Suburban Flats. It's like a little platform, I think it would open and you'd fall into the Zomboss boss fight room. Along with that, you can see the outline to the map stay loaded on the terrain. Now if you're wondering if this is also seen on the Aqua Center, I'll show on screen what it looks like. The pathway goes on a little bit and then it cuts off. But anyway, let's get on to the final thing. Finally, I'm going to talk about something that I don't think many people know about, and it's that all of the Gardens and Graveyards maps in Garden Warfare 1 have a secret garden underneath their final objective. So this isn't just a random garden that's just there, it can actually be captured, and you can finish off rounds if you capture this. Obviously in normal gameplay you can't access it, but it's there, and it plays music if there's no music playing from the main objective, and it counts as a main objective. I captured the Walnut Hills one, I'll show it on screen now, and it acts like I've captured the objective, tries to move on to the final, but then it ends the game because that's the 7th point that's been captured for the plants, or for the zombies. So it's a bit strange, but it can be captured in all maps, it will finish the game. And yeah, it is a really interesting little thing. I'll show on screen what each of them look like underneath the map so you can see exactly how they're positioned. The one that's closest to the actual gameplay is probably Driftwood Shores, being directly underneath the sunflower. But if you're wondering, is this on Garden Warfare 2 Walnut Hills? Yeah. I'll show on screen what it looks like now, and you can see. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like, maybe subscribe if you want to. If you want me to do one of these videos again, let me know. And if you have any of your own little things that you could suggest for the video, leave them in the comments. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.